Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and yes, we have another CPU security flaw. We have now three new security flaws. They're underneath the MDS, which is the microarchitecture data sampling, basically flaws, I would say. And these three are called zombie load, fallout, and RIDL. And so RIDL is road in-flight data load. And what these are is the RIDL and the fallout are leaking arbitrarily in-flight data from the CPU's internal buffers, and they also include data that is never even stored by the CPU store, or CPU caches, I should say. And then zombie load exploits fill buffers to get a hold of data like your passwords from running programs. It's user or system level ones as well. And all this stuff affects both personal computing and cloud computing, or can, right? Depending upon how they are taken advantage of. I will say this, there are patches. Intel has already worked through it. So there are patches rolling out right now from Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Linux distros. So Amazon has their cloud stuff, Microsoft has their cloud stuff, Google, as well as their personal stuff, is all rolling out now. So that is a good thing that we're getting that right away. What we're also getting, what I should also mention, is that Intel says here is that the eighth generation, or starting with select eighth and ninth generations Intel Core processors, as well as the second generation Intel Xeon Scalable family processors, those are hardware protected against this vulnerability. Whereas all the other previous processors, they do need to get patched, but they're all software. So they take a bigger performance hit than the newer hardware ones that already have it built into the hardware. So keep that in mind. Some people are saying up to 19% performance hit on that as well. So what'll be interesting here is with the performance hit on that, to see where the performance hit really is. I don't think the users are going to really see this end of their day-to-day operations. Like even on some of the Intel CPUs I use, I doubt I'm going to be able to be hit performance-wise on this for the task I use on those computers. However, if you're in a data center or a cloud operation, it could be a way bigger hit. And what's going to be really interesting is they say that this is since 2011, maybe as processors a little bit before that as well. But with that, how is Intel going to take this and make sure that they're starting to prevent things going forward, right? There's all these security vulnerabilities out there, right? Spectre, Meltdown, now we got Zombie Load, Foreshadow's already been out there. And researchers mentioned in some white papers that some of the previous patches made these ones worse, these speculative execution ones worse. So where is that going to all sit for Intel? How is Intel going to be treating these security vulnerabilities going forward? Are they downplaying it? I think that they are starting to downplay the security vulnerabilities. I think that the CEO should really start stepping out and start putting out there of how much he feels security needs to be uh, focused on going forward. It's one thing to have people in your company, like the security guys, up there talking about this and what they think about it, but it's a whole other thing to have the CEO be like, yes, our focus is this, and we're going to make sure that it's one of the most secure things out there. Can we be perfect? No, but we will make sure that we're putting our best foot effort to make sure we get people with the best products as soon as possible, and that means that they are patched when these vulnerabilities do arise. So there's a lot of that. One thing though is with Intel and ARM, or Intel and ARM, AMD and ARM are not affected by this. So they had statements in the white paper saying they don't believe they're affected, the gist of it, but basically what they were looking at is, yeah, we are not affected by this. One way, though, to prevent this style attack on the Intel CPUs is to disable hyperthreading. Now, if there's a slight performance hit, that's not bad with these patches. At least you're protected against that. But if you disable hyperthreading, which Intel does not recommend doing, they think they can get around it without it. The security researchers say that's one way to make sure that you aren't going to have any chances of it, is to turn off hyperthreading. However, that can be like a 30% hit, right? Because hyperthreading, how it schedules it, you pick up that with the SMT, simultaneous multi-threading of what Intel's hyperthreading can do. So there are trade-offs here of what companies maybe want to do, what cloud vendors maybe want to do. Maybe, if you are hosting your stuff in your cloud and you don't want to have trying to prevent these vulnerabilities, maybe you just have to get it so that Microsoft, Amazon, Google just turn off hyper-threading to make sure that you're safe, or just not use an Intel processor right now. AMD, ARM may have vulnerabilities out there. They just don't seem to be finding them as fast. If they do have them, granted, there's probably way more Intel processors out there than AMD and ARM combined at this time. But yeah, you start to wonder what's actually happening, where Intel is going forward. Granted, they've started hardening against this, but are they doing even more? AMD has stated that, yeah, we're making sure that security is a focus of ours, and that came right from Lisa Su as well. And hopefully Bob Swan does the same, because when the Spectre meltdown started, it was Brian Krasnick as CEO, and as much as he maybe said that he was starting to look at security when the flaws were actually announced and make sure that security is a focus, he was really more concerned about internal affairs than he was with yeah, security, or Intel as a whole. So uh, kind of interesting what's going on here. I think that they're trying to downplay vulnerabilities. I think that Intel's trying to get around this, get past these, and move forward. I think there might have to be a time where Intel might have to look at this and tell users, yeah, you probably need to upgrade. We cannot guarantee the security of how secure our processors are at this time, at this generation before. We would highly recommend you upgrade. That's not a good thing. Like, that's not going to make a good light of Intel, but at some point in time, I'd rather have security and make sure people are a little bit hardened against it, rather than all the software stuff that may get kind of tricky. Making sure that everything stays patched, because as we know with software, and I'm a software developer, bugs slip in even when you don't think that even though when you don't think that you put a bug in. So with that, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to help support Grayload and helping this channel grow. Leave a comment below of what you think Intel's doing. Are they downplaying it? Or what do you think of these security flaws keep coming out? Is it something where Intel's, with patching them, building trust, or what are they doing? So let me know what your thoughts are below. And until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.